ready? All right, y'all. I'm here with Mystique. Mystique, what's your last name?
Piedra.
Piedra.
Yeah.
Mystique Piedra. So Mystique is sitting with me here at the Pensacola Free Will Baptist Church. She came by to get some supplies today, and we've been chatting with her. Mystique, where do you live?
We live in Newdale, right between Spruce Pine and Burnsville. We live in a very old farmhouse, 157 years old, and it was my baby. Came up from South Florida just for that property and that home, 157 years old farmhouse, and it's just, was my dream.
157 years old. That is so old.
Yeah.
And I did not realize it was that old.
It really
is.
is.
And to have property that old around here is very special. So tell me, did you sustain damages to your home?
Yes. It from the beginning, I guess, is how I guess I can explain it better. We were told about the storm and just took it as, this South Florida girl is not scared of anything.
You've lived through a hurricane.
I've seen
You're
hurricanes.
Good.
I hear hurricane and I know what to do. We go fill up on gas. We cover.
You go to the liquor store.
Exactly. We cover our windows. We board them up. We get the sandbags. But I've always been told, the mountains will protect us.
Yeah.
We don't have to fear hurricanes. It's really not something that we have to deal with here. And so I did not take it seriously. Yeah. And but as the rain progressed and my creek started roaring and started coming in and covering half the property, I said, okay, all right, this is getting a little bit more serious. And then by 5 o'clock in the morning, I saw how much water had come in already, and my biggest concern was not my house, was not my things, were my chickens. I had 70 chickens,
no
ducks,
way.
70 chickens, ducks, and geese, and a big old coop. And I thought that if it rained, as long as they were up on the highest roosting sticks,
right.
There's no way, because my coop is very tall.
Right.
So at 6 in the morning, we went. Water was already knees deep, and you would think, red flags, but it was on the other side of the property. I said, okay, just because it's a little bit deeper, that's the reason. The water hadn't come up towards the house, so that part was a little bit more dangerous, but we put all the chickens, one by one, we threw them to the top of the roosting sticks, and I said, okay, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
It's going to stop here. By 8:30, the water kept rising, and at this point, the chickens only had this much breathing room on the top of the coop, and that was our biggest concern.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So how many chickens did you
So by
lose?
8:30, we lost reception, and the only way to get help was get in the car and go drive to our nearby friend's house, and we brought 2 guys over to help my husband and not me, because I just stood there praying
Gaping,
By this time, trees had already been falling left and right. 3 trees had fallen on the house, and so I'm watching these men risk their lives in this coop where the water was up to here, throwing chickens.
Where are they throwing them?
To the top of the hill.
Oh.
Top of the hill, monkey barring through the structure there. We have a structure right next to the coop, and so they're throwing chickens, and I'm just standing there trying to be supportive. And trying, not to faint.
Yeah.
And sitting under rocks, because it just felt like trees were falling all over the place. And so by the time it took us an hour to save all the chickens, by 9:30, literally from 8:30 to 9:30, my husband was like, water's creeping up a little bit higher and higher. It's reaching the stairs. We got to get out. I said, what? We're doing this? We're leaving the house? And I said, okay, kids, grab a bag. They grabbed a book bag, each of them, and put 2 shirts in. And I didn't know where I was going. My idea was go to the first motel or hotel, take the dogs. By the time we got out of the house and the kids were already in the car, but mom's trying to not faint, I didn't grab a single thing. Don't think I did, because I didn't. Not anything on a hard drive. My whole career on my hard drives, not a baby album, not an important document under my bed. Just
in survival mode.
I really didn't think. I thought if the water comes up, it's just gonna come maybe ankle deep, and it's not gonna go past that.
So what really happened? So
by the time I got in the truck, the water was up to here. We rode up. And then when we get to the top of our driveway, we're blocked in completely. Couldn't go to the left of Denning Road because that's up 80. That River had already taken that poor lady's house, and so we knew we couldn't go left. And then right, we were blocked in. Our cables, not jumper cables, just our pulling cables were not strong enough. So every time, and we had 3 grown men helping, thank God, the cables were just snapping. So that morning I had met my neighbors for the first time in 4 years at the top of the hill. They said, please come if you need any help at all. So they had a huge oak tree that had blocked so I in the rain, left my kids in the truck at the bottom of their driveway, trying to get some chains to get the trees out. It took us a whole hour to pull that tree out of the way. Meanwhile, trees are falling. Another tree fell right in front of my van where our dogs were inside. It was just traumatizing for the kids, just sitting there hoping that the trees weren't falling. Meanwhile, my son is outside of the car because I can't tell him what to do, because in the moment, like, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And he's just watching all the water, like, cover go higher and higher. We went back in to get we have pet rats too, little pet rats. We went back in because my son was crying. He didn't know where his cats were. It was just a mess. And we finally got out. And by the time we got out, we tried to return the guys that we had borrowed to help us with we couldn't pass Micaville because the river had totally blocked us off.
So it just leaves you a little speechless. It's something we all experience living here, not being able to communicate with others, having blockages. I was trying to get to my family. Luckily, my home sustained no damages, but the same feelings of trying to get out and hitting this roadblock and hitting this roadblock. So we've gotten past that now in the area, but we're all still dealing with things holding us back now.
Absolutely.
So what is your situation like now?
So now, we returned back, and after a few hours, the water subsided, but everything was unrecognizable. We had a river running now through I have 4 acres, and the waterfall from the left, it just created a whole river through the property. And then eventually my other creek had dried out, and everything was just mud, and it was up to the ankles, like thick. Thick mud.
Thick, heavy mud, and it's so heavy.
All my grass is gone, all the gravel, everything. Just the property was unrecognizable. The amount of trash and trees and tires, I mean, it was a mess. We couldn't get to the chicken coop anymore. Lost everything on our, even if the doors were closed, things got out of all the broken windows.
Yeah.
And we found boots at the chicken coop. We found all kinds of, all my patio furniture, all the
gone.
way. Yeah.
It's in Tennessee now. Yeah. Wow. So where are you living now?
Well, luckily, we had built a small structure for maybe, for future, over our shed, and it stood firm. So the shed was completely, all my memories and all my tubs and Christmas stuff were, completely destroyed, but the structure on the top was still okay, no water inside, so we've had to kind of camp out up there. We didn't have running water or electricity or plumbing, but we've had to, in the last few weeks, work really hard to make it livable. And that's where we're at, because we don't have any questions. We don't know if we want to continue to work on so much on it or the property, because I don't know, or I still don't have all my answers yet.
Yeah. So you're just kind of in a standstill right now.
We're still,
just doing what we can to get by.
Yeah.
Well, Mystique, I thank you for telling your story, and I know it's.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, well, it's a little emotional. I mean, at least for me to hear all about that. Did your rats make it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good.
And then after a month of living in a tub with just little holes on top at my parents' house, because that's where the kids were, I had to kind of get them out.
Yeah.
For a few weeks so they can have some normalcy. They live in my parents live in Marshall. We were able now to. I can't be without them anymore. As hard as it is, and we're in our situation. I brought the rats back, and I brought my real rats back.
That's right. All that you can
rats.
do to get back to normal, I guess. Well, thank you, Mystique.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks so much.